Pouring down rain again. Can't work outside. Time to head to the garage. Hey everybody, doing a little organizing today in the garage. I'd much rather be working on the car right now, but I opened up my drawer over there and all these grinding discs and stuff kind of went flying everywhere. So it's time to get them straightened out. Good. Okay, I think we're done with the old Galant transmission. We got everything off of it we need. So now I'm gonna huck it back in the Sheptrans box and then push it up the steps where it'll spend the rest of its days in the attic, I suppose. Goodbye, my dude. Till we meet again. Oh, I hope I don't have to do that again anytime soon. Okay, we are so close to getting this engine out of here. We just have the accessories and things to remove, and then it'll be the mounts, and then we can pull it out. Let's do it. Okay, before we get into all that craziness, I need some of my patented super strong coffee. Oh yeah, now I'm ready. Now many of you may know this, but the Galant VR4 has this crazy steering system. So you see the power steering reservoir here and the lines coming off of it. Not only does that go, in a typical car, it would just go to the front steering rack and that would be it. But in the Galant VR4, this car has four-wheel steering. So not only are the front wheels steering, but the rear wheels above a certain mile per hour steer just a little bit too. So what you have is this just variety of lines running all over the place. And these two lines here go to a cooler, and you see there's lines that go to the power steering pump and back. And then you have these lines down here. Let me try to zoom in on these. So these lines go, and here they go. Up the frame, up, back. Sorry, you can't see that very well. All the way back, up the frame there, all the way back, down under the cross member, all the way to the back of the car, to the rear steering rack, to power that rear steering feature. So pretty crazy, pretty complicated, can be troublesome if not maintained properly, but amazingly, this car, being it was a one-owner car before me, extremely well taken care of, and no rust or anything, so all this works great without any leaks at all. Knock on Mitsubishi. This little support bracket is one of the ones in the DSM world that get thrown away. There's this one, there's that brace thing that goes from the throttle body to the cam angle sensor. There's just a whole bunch of little pieces like this that if the car's been into a few times, they're usually gone just because they're kind of a hassle. But amazingly, this one's still here. I'll try to keep it that way. Okay, up next we're going to remove this pain in the butt AC tensioner. So let's get started on that one. All right, we got one of the mounting bolts out of the AC compressor. I believe there's 3. What you don't want to do is accidentally, they're 12 millimeter, and so are these line bolts. You see one there and a little further down. You would get quite a surprise if you suddenly ripped one of those off and the Freon went shooting everywhere. But I think the other 2 are down under. Double wrenching it. There we go. Okay. There's that. So the reason we keep the power steering hooked up and the air conditioning hooked up is, although it is a little bit of a hassle to fight the pump and the lines and fight the big old AC compressor and the lines that are hooked up to it, it's way easier than having to, for the AC system, for example, discharge all the Freon out of the system and then fight with trying to get it charged and hopefully there not being any leaks or anything. Same goes with the power steering. If you unhook the power steering lines and leave the pump attached, you're setting yourself up for a huge mess because oil usually goes everywhere and you usually get air in the lines and things. If you're pulling an engine, pretty much no matter what the car, if you leave those accessories attached to the car itself, you'll save yourself a lot of time and effort. Okay, up next is disconnecting the alternator. I was hoping I could leave it on there and pull the engine, but the fact is on the Galant, there's just too much stuff in the way. You can see those power steering lines run right there and the frame rails right there. It's just a lot tighter than a DSM engine bay, so alternator's gonna have to come out. All right, well, before we take the alternator off, my goofball dump tube is definitely gonna have to come out of there. So let's get that out of there first. Okay, so after disconnecting all these alternator wires, an easy wire to forget is this little oil sending unit light here. So you just gotta go around and unclip this little guy. There we go. There we go. Okay, who wants a little alternator story time? Anybody? 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 All right. Okay, so it was the first year I was taking the Galant to the shootout. All excited, got it all cleaned up. So I was gonna take it up there and show everybody. I was really excited to meet everyone and show them the car. And so I thought I would go out and do like a data log the night before, make sure everything looked good, get my tune right, So I went out and just things started looking weird on the data log, and then the battery light came on and the whole 9 yards. So the alternator died the night before I was leaving for the shootout. The night before. So I brought the thing back, everything's red hot, so I had to let it cool down and swap the alternator out right before I left. I mean, luckily I had this new Mitsubishi, it doesn't look new right now, but this new Mitsubishi replacement just in my war chest upstairs of Mitsubishi parts. So I was able to slap that thing on there. But thank goodness it didn't leave me stranded on the side of the road somewhere, having to replace this alternator, because as you saw, it's really in there tight compared to a DSM, and it's a tricky job. Okay, the next step is I have the engine supported from underneath. This is just a little scissor jack, and I have it on a block of wood and a bunch of cardboard so it won't dent the oil pan. So that's just providing some support underneath so we can then loosen this driver's side motor mount. Okay, for those of you who may not know what this is an engine hoist load leveler. It's really nice because versus just using this hook and trying to attach it to your engine, which will pull unevenly and bind up and cause lots of trouble, this load leveler, you hook this to one side of your engine and this to the other, and then as the engine wants to tilt and move, just based on where the weight is, so you can adjust this, which moves this back and forth, shifting the weight and leveling the load. Really nice, and they're not terribly expensive, and I highly recommend them if you have a cherry picker and want to pull an engine. Now, since I got rid of the bracket that goes from the throttle body to the cam angle sensor, that was always a great place to just hook off of and pull the engine. Well, that thing's gone now. It's upstairs in a bin somewhere. So now we got to think of plan B here. One good option is this nice sturdy bolt that comes out of the head and attaches the intake manifold. Now, you can't just hook a couple links of chain to it. It's not long enough. So what I have is this. This, I believe, is off of the stock Miata engine that I deleted years ago, but you can find these in the junkyard off a variety of cars, and they're very handy to have around for situations like this. So what I'll do is get a spacer underneath this thing and just sort of hook it right in there like that and put a bolt on the other side, and I'll have a nice sturdy place for my chain to hook onto. Oh yeah, that'll work. Okay, we're locked in over here, and we're bolted up nice and tight on this end. Now we just need to jack it up a little bit and take the pressure off these mounts, unbolt those, and we should be out. All right. I've just got the engine barely sitting on this tire until I can get one of my little pallets, one of my little moving pallets to set the engine on so I can move it around. All right, we got her out of there. I think that's enough work for today. So with that said, thanks again, folks. We'll see you next time.